if I want to keep. Should I just keep complaining more?
Uh, I don't know what else you have to complain about because once we get to Rise of Skywalker, that's when I'm going to be doing most of the complaining.
Oh boy. You know what? You know what? Screw it. Screw it. I'm gonna get it off my chest.
Let the hate flow through you.
Again, Poe was degraded. Finn did not do a lot and was just like, except his battle of Phasma. Every scene that could have been great was just kind of dragged. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I did not like the way Snoke died. I thought Snoke dying with literally nothing was dumb. Like, why couldn't they make him like a new lore character? Like, why is Snoke come back after the Sith was supposed to destroy? Like, again, my idea. He could have been an immortal that was like buried in either like cement or carbon, like some kind of solid liquid, only to either somehow rise again due to an accident or something. But no, and like, imagine if you will, after Snoke gets cut, it turns out he's not dead. He's just kind of he the only limbs he has attached are his hands, and he's kind of fighting Rey and Rey and Ben
Kylo.
and Kylo Ren with just his limbs. It turns out, oh crap, this guy's a lot more powerful than they think he is. So
I mean,
they
if
have
you
to make an
if you
escape
do that,
somehow.
you kind of run the risk of it feeling kind of cheap because it's like, whoa, you
Well,
forgot you
and
killed
now
this person, and then you thought you killed this person, and then it's like he's because if it's somebody is an immortal being, how do you defeat that? How do you come up with a way to
well,
defeat them?
that would have been the goal of the next movie. How do they kill Snoke? That would have been the next movie. How do they kill Snoke? And maybe it could have been Ben Solo trying to be a redemption. That could have been the next movie. How do they kill Snoke? In fact, yeah.
I mean,
Or
I kind of like, because I think what this movie was trying to lead into is in episode 9, it would be Kylo as the main villain. I feel like that would have been a bit more interesting because like he's literally just an offshoot of the Emperor. Like even with this whole thing that you're proposing, it's like, okay, so he's just an immortal Emperor then. Like
I
I don't
mean,
particularly find
still
that
would have been
I'm
better.
I mean I don't particularly find that particularly interesting personally to seeing another Emperor, and we'll talk about that
I
when we get to
mean,
Rise of Skywalker. But
I think another thing too. I don't like how they did Kylo in this movie. Like, he has all this trouble, but he still chooses to be dark and evil. Like, are they just gonna were they gonna like redo Return of the Jedi in the next movie, or would Kylo finally accept his dark path and just be the main villain all the way through, where Rey would have to kill him somehow?
well,
Like,
I think one of the few things I think that was sort of planned from the beginning for this trilogy was Kylo's redemption, because that's like the one through line through all three of these movies. So I think that
how
was kind
could
of
Kylo? How do you think Kylo could have redeemed himself? Do not reference Rise of Skywalker. How do you think Kylo would have redeemed himself?
let me see here. There's a bunch of ways he could have redeemed himself. He could have done something to save Rey. He could have switched sides, and that's probably what it would have been, either saving Rey
What
or
about with Snoke's death?
even with Snoke's death. Like maybe maybe you know, one of his officers like Hux or somebody else, or hell, maybe fucking Captain Phasma, if they kept her alive, could have there could have been this um, plan going on with them, and they
Hmm.
could have done something, and uh, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like there's a whole bunch of
Yeah,
different things that they could have done.
yeah. Like, as I mentioned with my like little fanfic of freaking Snoke being an immortal. How about have General Hux be his next second? Now I'm thinking, how can General Hux go against the Jedi? Well, there have been records of history where non-Jedi have actually gone toe to toe with Jedi.
Yeah,
So
it's possible.
Maybe Snoke could have trained Hux in a different way. Like, again, General Grievous, he was not a Jedi, but he got trained in the Jedi arts by Count Dooku. All right, before we start
It's
getting into
possible.
fanfiction territory, Tim, I'm gonna rope you into this. What do you make of Holdo and Poe? And what do you make of what was the other thing we talked about?
Snoke,
And what do you
Snoke,
think of
and
Snoke
Kylo.
dying like a fucking bitch?
Well, I that Holdo was just a mole. I thought that she was secretly a spy for. I thought that she purposely left everything out, like that she was a mole, so I just assumed that she worked for the Empire, so that's what I thought at first. So that's why.
That would have been cool. That would have been so cool. That would have made so much sense. But keep talking. Keep talking.
Well, that's all I thought. I mean, I thought that she was just a mole for the Empire. So,
That could have explained why she degraded Poe. But I'm sorry. Keep talking. Keep talking. Keep talking. Sorry.
I just thought that she was sabotaging everybody, and I thought that she was just another mole for the Empire, and she manipulated Leia somehow. So that's what I thought, at first.
Yeah. Well, it's also important to know that when Holdo was first introduced, after she leaves to go off to the bridge, Poe is talking to somebody, to like the person next to him, and just by the way you talk, it's clear that Holdo does have a reputation amongst the Resistance, and it's not one that you would think of if you think a character is a mole. But then again, we don't have. Then again, they don't go into detail. They just reference her that she was. I guess she took part in a famous battle or something, but we don't get much detail. But we don't get much detail about it.
Well,
why can't they build up? Why can't they build up Holdo in the last movie, actually being involved in the plan, and actually maybe even being a little supportive of Poe, so that way maybe they could have had a more interesting conflict. They could have had a more interesting conflict in this movie. Why can't they?
Well, where in the last movie would Holdo be relevant? As it is right now.
Holdo could have maybe discussed the plan to kill Starkiller Base, and maybe it could have established that Poe and Holdo actually fought side by side on that one battle, and Poe would have probably maybe had a little more faith in Holdo, and maybe their relationship would have probably have maybe started falling apart, and could have created some conflict. Because I feel like they could have done something with infighting. Like, how does a group recover from infighting and groupthink and everything, That would have been nice to see,
That's fair.
I'm not trying to say they'd be boyfriend and girlfriend. I mean, like, people who
obviously not. Obviously not. Let's not go there.
Like this could be something that actually strains them. Like, this could be something that genuinely strains them together. And it could have made more sense for why Poe felt bad for Holdo when she like fucking sacrificed her light speed thing, which you could make the argument that's kind of the rule of cool hype moments of Aura scene, but the more I think about it, I don't like it.
Okay, why not? Give it to me.
I thought light speed was just that you're traveling so fast you don't run into anything. Because if you consider the fact that light speed, you're traveling so fast, like, what if you bump into a planet in light speed? Do you blow up that planet? Or
I think it's established. I think in the original trilogy or one of the trilogies somewhere that there's in the galaxy there's hyperspace lanes, kind of like how we have lanes on the road in the real world to prevent that exact sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, I get with that thing. With that, I think it's one of the coolest visuals in the movie, to be honest. And it's like the way I respond to people who sometimes complain about that, depending on what it is that they're complaining about specifically. It's like my response is, well, it's just one of those things that nobody making the movies thought to do until now.
It probably it would have made more sense if let's say she went hyperspeed, but she stopped, once she went hyperspeed, immediately stopped, teleported into the ship for some reason, activate a self-destruct feature, bada bing, bada boom, ship gets badly damaged on the inside.
I mean, what difference does that would have made? Because it's the bet because it's clear that the speed at which the ship goes through the supremacy, just because it's going so fast, it even catches some of the. Not only does it go through the supremacy, some of the debris even catches the ship behind it, and it's like I think you can sort of just justify that by the weight of this is a fucking capital ship going through at full speed, at light speed, going through another capital ship. It's like that's going to cause a lot of damage. I mean,
I guess.
Because when something, I don't want to get too deep into the science of it, but when something goes into another object at full speed, the speed actually affects how bad the damage is. Just because you're going through it so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about this movie. I'm done. I'm done with it. And actually, I guess the only other, this is kind of a reach, but I didn't really think Rey was that interesting in this movie. She was just kind of like she just kind of felt like a blank slate. Like, I guess her whole point was supposed to be she wasn't special or anything, but like, could we have seen maybe more of her training? Like maybe Luke actually spar with her and actually give her some points and tips, and actually kind of see her grow as a fighter, so she can actually fight all those guards in the royal palace.
The thing is, Rey had to grow up as a fighter, as a scavenger on Jakku. So she probably
But isn't there, but like maybe she could have learned that there's a difference.
I mean, what more could Luke teach her about melee combat?
There is a difference between fighting with a two-handed staff and a lightsaber, which is typically a one-hand weapon. Yes, you could use two hands, but maybe maybe Luke could have shown her that your fighting style is off. You're using it as a staff. You're not using it as a sword. 'Cause that's what it is. It's a sword. She's not using Darth Maul's weapon. It's constructed like a sword.
Yeah.
Like different different weapons have different styles and different ways of handling things. Like the little batons.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they're so different by the fact that if someone has been not trained, but like been using melee weapons their whole lives, it may take a little bit of practice, sure, but I don't think they're so different that you can't translate from one weapon to another. Like, I don't think they're that different. They're different, but they're not that different, I don't think. But then again, I'm not trained in melee combat, and I'm not sure if any of us are. So
I mean, I'm not trained either. I did have like nunchucks for a little bit, but like it was like one of those like plastic nunchucks you don't hurt yourself with. It's like Taekwondo is proven. But maybe could have shown that Rey was too reliant on her staff style, and that this would have been a grand flaw where Luke could have found weakness. It's like you're treating a lightsaber as a staff, not a sword. And
also as far as like the Jedi goes, I mean, there's more to being a Jedi than fighting, So
I know. But like maybe also do more force stuff. Like maybe she needs to control her power, or better yet,
I think that's kind of what they were getting at with the first scene with them on that platform at the Jedi Temple, when she reaches out and you see these, and she's talking about peace and life, and she sees the island and stuff, and the darkness too, and all that. I think that's kind of because at the end of that scene, Luke says it's like I've only seen this power once before, and it's like it terrifies me.
This could have been Luke's call to action, be like, looks like I do have to train you, but no, that's just like after he shows her the Jedi, text and how flawed is like, oh fuck you, you're not getting trained. It's like, really, this is like your second chance, your second calling. You even had that R2 doing the cheap move. It's like,
well, it's R2 doing that. What got him to train her in the first place?
I know, but didn't that come like after? Didn't that come like before the "I've seen this power once before"?
No. It came before.
What?
Came before.
Wait. Hang on. What? I'm sorry. Pardon me if I sound stupid, but was I saying that the R2 cheap move came before the I've seen his strength once before? I've seen his strength.
You said it came after. It came before.
Oh shit! Damn. All right. Well, I guess that's all I have to say about this movie. Tim, I forgot, man. I'm sorry for calling you out. I thought I had to ask you some questions to get your input on things, but I feel like we kind of lost. We kind of just went all over the place. But do you have anything else? Does anybody here, whether it be you, Tim, or you, Drew, do you have anything else to add on to this movie before we give our conclusion of this movie.
So we're not going to talk about the Palpatine final battle. So we're not going to.
That's in the next movie.
That's in the next movie. Trust me, we'll get there. But as far as the Last Jedi goes, I guess not. I've kind of gone over what I wanted to say. So
I forgot about that.
Unless you want to complain how awkward some of the humor is in this movie.
Yeah, I didn't find any of the jokes funny. I did not find any of the jokes.
I mean, honestly, I didn't. Most of the humor was just
again. Hux was degraded. Hux was also not. I mean, he wasn't really degraded, but like I get they're trying to show that Snoke doesn't accept failure, but just like why couldn't they have done it a better way instead of like oh funny man gets dragged around.
I mean, I didn't particularly mind the scene. I mean, one bit of the humor that kind of rubbed me the wrong way is that scene between one of Rey and Kylo's force bonds when he's shirtless and he's like, and she's like, "Do you have?" So she's
I did not like the force calls. I did not like the force calls.
Ooh, why? That's like one of my favorite parts of the movie. Why did you not like it?
Because they just like. For one, I thought the idea of Luke's plan would be that maybe the Force would be blocked off, and that's why they can't find him, because they could have found Luke maybe via Force meditation, like, oh, I found you, let's go get Luke, or something like that. So it's just like, with the Force calls, why didn't maybe Snoke send an attack ship towards Luke's planet? And also I just didn't really see a point in Rey wanting to interact with Ben in the middle of the movie. Like I just thought they were pointless.
Why? It furthers the relationship between the hero and the villain. And at first, Rey doesn't want to communicate with Kylo. When they first link up with each other, she pulls out her blaster and tries to shoot him, and it blows the hole in the hut that she's in. It's like she at first doesn't want to, but she's kind of forced to because
Sorry, you first.
And she's, no pun intended, she's forced to because the Force is making them. kind of, because like, I mean, if you're gonna, it's like being forced into phone calls with people almost. It's like some point you have to interact. At some point you have to interact.
But why did like Snoke have to set it all up? He kept saying, "Oh, I set up the Force call."
Admittedly, that part I do kind of agree with you. That was pretty lame. But I will also say it also helps Rey get exposed to Kylo's side of the story of what happened with the Jedi Temple, rather than just Luke's perspective.
Like, why couldn't they have just been? Why couldn't they have just been like freaking like maybe little premonitions or feelings or visions, like where maybe she gets glimpses, and like I'm not talking like full on Force Zoom calls. I'm talking like maybe like premonitions or glimpses, like how Anakin had in the prequels. Like like she can sense Kylo Ren. She can sense Kylo Ren, and Ren can kind of sense Rey. Like, and that could only be on their minds, and that could maybe prove a distraction in Rey's training, and it can also prove a distraction in Kylo's plan to take down a tiny cruiser. Like maybe they could have maybe built up on feelings, and maybe they could have had the final confrontation talk when they actually met on the ship, and not for these Force Zoom calls.
Well, if they're just visions, the thing is, I think with the way it is, like, they have to actually interact with each other in some way. It can't just be visions, because if they're just visions, it's like from their perspective, they could be having totally different visions. And it's like,
I feel like the meetup that would have built up to them finally interacting and meeting up. It could have built up. Could have built up to the final meetup.
Well, still then, it's like, then what motivation would Rey have to seek him out in the way that she does?
Because if Rey still sees good in Ben Solo, that could have maybe been the vision or something. That could have been.
So I think it's better if they actually interact with each other, because then they can actually sort of get to know each other more rather than just seeing artificial visions. And as we learned in the prequels, who knows what these visions might actually mean and might entail.
Yeah, but I guess that's true. But maybe during like a meditation or session, they could have actually seen, like, not in like a Zoom call, but maybe like this other trajectory Force world or something. Like, I mean, yeah. I know it sounds like I'm making up what ifs or this is how maybe I would have wrote the movie, but I guess this is the best way I can give constructive criticism on how all this could have been done so much better, because the ideas are there. It's there. But they fumbled. They fumbled. They fumbled. That's all. Anything else on The Last Jedi?
Tim, you got anything else?
What?
Anything? Do you have anything else to say about The Last Jedi?
Like, are we?
Like, what are your thoughts? Like, do you have any thoughts on the characters? Do you have any thoughts on how scenes looked? Did you just anything? What do you got to say about it, Tim? Like, I'm so I feel like I like to include these to you in these conversations, but I feel like I kind of left you out, and I apologize.
Well, I definitely like that Lando returned. So
That's in the next movie.
That's the next movie. We're talking about The Last Jedi.
The middle one. Oh. The middle one.
We're talking about the middle movie.
So
the bastard child.
You're still talking about. Sorry, I thought
yes.
you guys moved on with that from that.
No, we would have said so. We would have told you.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, I just got nothing but mixed signals. Okay, well, yeah. Besides that, then it did set up the next sequel after that. So, not much else to say there. So.
That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So I guess we'll.
Oh, actually, you know what? One more thing, because this is a big thing for people. What did you guys think of the revelation that Rey's parents were nobody? I personally think, like I remember when I first saw it in the theaters. At first, I was like, really? But then it was like, I think it's kind of more interesting that way because it forces Rey to be her own person rather than just. So I think it's more interesting than her being Luke's daughter or fucking Obi-Wan's granddaughter.
Oh no, I agree. I agree that we don't have to tie everything back to being a kid of somebody. Like again, good idea, bad execution. Like it wasn't the worst thing. I just didn't understand it, and I feel like they could have communicated this way better.
How so? Like they just straight up told you.
Well,
I mean,
maybe
I think
show that the parents were actually, I don't want to call them deadbeats, but they were in debt to some crime boss, and the crime boss killed them, and they were just nobodies. That could have, and that's why I left Freya that planet, was because they were in debt to a crime boss. They didn't want the crime boss to find the kids, so they went to face the crime boss and accept their fate because they were just nobodies.
I mean, I guess they could have had a little more detail like that. It's just that, with a movie this overstuffed with plot and everything, it's like, well, we already have time to actually present that to the audience in a way where it feels natural.
Fair enough.
But I totally get what you're saying though.
The Rey's parents being nobodies could have been better. But before we segue into the final movie, do we want to get everybody's thoughts on The Last Jedi?
Well, I think we know everybody's thoughts.
Final closing thoughts on The Last Jedi.
I mean, I still think it's a pretty good movie. I don't think it was the near masterpiece I once thought it was, but I moved down my ranking a little bit, but I still enjoy it.
In case anyone did not understand anything I just said, I did not like this movie. I hate it. Tim, final thoughts on The Last Jedi.
Yeah, it makes you wish that why were these sequels even made? I mean, everybody was happy with the original trilogy, so what was the point of all this?
But so you did not like The Last Jedi?
Yeah. Given that they wrote Luke off, of course, and it's like no wonder many of my friends don't even consider this trilogy canon. So.
It's all right. Now let's conclude this with The Rise of Skywalker. Drew, why don't you go first?
I'll say this. I think this movie is watchable. Like, I was watching it earlier today. It's like, I think it's watchable. I'm not bored watching it. that's like the one thing I would. That's why it's not dead last for me in my Star Wars rankings, because like whether during like admittedly, especially during parts of Phantom Menace and most of Attack of the Clones, I was just bored out of my mind with those movies. I'm not really bored with this one, but oh my god, where do I even start? First off, bringing Palpatine back is the stupidest, most fan fictiony idea ever.
I agree.
It is, and Rey being his granddaughter is. I'm not sure which part I find stupider, honestly. Like either them bringing Palpatine back or her being his grand. Like it sounds so fan fictiony. I remember back when after the Force Awakens came out, when people were writing their clickbait articles about who Rey's parents could be, and people would be like, "Oh, there's a possibility she could be the Emperor's daughter, granddaughter, or whatever." And I fucking laughed at those theories because I thought it was so ridiculous. And then they were like, "Let's actually make it canon." I hated that so much.
So I'm gonna be honest. I don't like The Rise of Skywalker, but it's only a tiny baby step up from Last Jedi, because when I first watched it, I watched it with my brother. We had a good time, but it was not a good movie. Like it wasn't like, I'm gonna be honest. When I rewatched this with Tim, I didn't feel that same joy when I first watched it. Like it was, again, this is not a good movie.
It definitely.
I think it's a bad movie.
It definitely goes down on subsequent rewatches because it's so full. It's so there's some of the stuff in this movie is like some of the most. I even said this out loud to myself as I was watching this movie the other day. There are some moments in this movie that are like some of the most blatant nostalgia pandering crap I've ever seen in my entire life.
I agree.
And it's just like, look, say what you will about The Last Jedi, and I know we won't drag on about that, but at least that movie actually tried to say something and had ambition, regardless of whether you think it succeeded or not. This movie has nothing new to say. It has nothing really new to add to Star Wars lore as a whole. It just sort of exists, you know.
I agree.
This movie moves at such a breakneck pace, but it actually that works in the movie's favor, because if you stop to think about anything in this movie, your brain would fall apart, because there's no reasons for things happening in this movie. Things just happen. The plot doesn't really have any structure. The story doesn't have much of a structure. It's just things just happen and they go to places and it's a load of people doing stuff, which I admit on the surface...
It's a very disjointed movie.
Which I know the way I put it, it does sound a bit... My point seems a bit flimsy on the surface, but it's like, I'm not sure what else you want me to say. What else you want me to say in that department?
No, man. It's all good. Tim, what did you think of The Rise of Skywalker?
I'd definitely say it was better because it had more legacy characters and Lando, which I really liked, of course, and I did like that Palpatine return, but I was confused at how the heck is Palpatine, Rey's, granddad? How is this possible?
I know, right? Well, here's what really gets me, okay? Because it was revealed, I think of all things like Fortnite or something, after the movie came out, that Palpatine, that she was a daughter of a clone of Palpatine.
That is dumb. That is absolutely dumb.
Stupid. Like, oh my god.
Freaking Clone Commander Rex being confirmed to be in the OT made more sense than that.
It does. You're absolutely right.
I also found it a little strange that Palpatine, despite being related, was so quick to kill Rey, despite being his grand. You think he'd show a little bit more care and
what was
family ties?
What was the purpose of? Sorry, you first, Tim.
So I'm amazed that Palpatine didn't even show any family love to her at first. The fact that she's his granddaughter, you think he'd show a little bit more care and To her.
Well, you have to remember this is Palpatine. He's super evil. He only cares about power.
Yeah, super duper evil. He don't care about no family.
Really?
Yeah.
Of the
Dude.
Oh shit. Drew, you froze.
Drew, you cut out.
You literally just froze.
Oh, can you guys hear and see me now?
Yeah, you're good. You're good now.
Okay. So something that really, just on top of the pile of things that I don't like about Palpatine returning, here's what I know. This is going to kind of sound like nitpicking, but at the beginning of the movie, he tells Kylo Ren, he's like, "Kill the girl, kill her." And then later, when Rey comes to kill him, he's like, "I never wanted you dead." I'm like, but you literally ordered Kylo to kill her 2 hours ago. Like, what? And I'm not to mention the fact that this whole Final Order thing, it's like this whole completely separate faction from the First Order that wasn't even a known thing until now.
That doesn't make any sense. In fact,
what? It's like, and they're somewhat separate from the First Order, outside of that General Pride guy, who I actually enjoyed seeing him. I think Richard E. Grant.
General who?
General Pride, Richard E. Grant's character. He's the guy who shoots Hux.
He was very forgettable. I'm gonna be real with you.
He was kind of forgettable, but I mean, I think he was fine. He was kind of carried by, I think Richard E. Grant, his actor. I think you could tell he was kind of having fun with it. So, but it's like, outside of that guy, it's like the Final Order is like a completely different faction than the First Order. So it's like, the First Order is now basically irrelevant now, because now it's this a whole other faction which comes out of nowhere, and the whole plot of this movie, well, whatever there is of a plot, is like this whole Indiana Jones style MacGuffin hunt for the Sith Wayfinder.
Yeah.
And it's
like a Goonies ripoff.
Exactly. And it's just like, look, I don't mind like treasure hunting stuff. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Indiana Jones movies, but it's like, for the final movie in this 9-movie saga, that's all you got?
Yeah. Like, I feel like this movie tries to okay, we didn't explain anything in the last movie. We didn't give you good explanations. Let's do it all in one movie.
And let's do it even worse and more sloppily.
The only things I liked in this movie were, I liked the visuals. The visuals are pretty.
Yeah, I agree.
And I liked the line where Luke is like, a Jedi's weapon deserves more respect. But that isn't saying a lot. That's not really saying a lot.
I hated that so much. Not because I like The Last Jedi, but I just think that line is super corny, and it's like, which, I mean, to be fair, it's Star Wars, it's obscure, it's full of corny lines. But it's like, that's, to me, it's like, that's the stuff, that's shit talking you'd see on Twitter, not on movies. Not in movies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just think there was a better way to show the Luke's arc about how he learned to, like,
I like the idea it had of Luke actually working in secret, trying to not track down the Emperor, but could have been tracking down a great Sith plot, and that's why he had to go on that island. He's trying to put things together. But honestly, it didn't really tie into The Last Jedi. It's just them trying to reckon, no, Luke wasn't actually grumpy. He was actually this. Like, that would have been nice, but people like me just kind of stopped fucking caring.
Well, to be fair, even in The Last Jedi, it's like, he's not the grumpy man at the end of The Last Jedi. But it's like, so you don't need to explain Luke not being a grumpy man anymore. It's like,
it just feels like they desperately tried to fix it. They tried to bring people back, going, no, guys, we messed up. We'll do better. It's like they did it so sloppily.
That's putting it mildly.
And I guess the other thing I liked, and this is just a minor thing, I thought Babu Frick was kind of cool.
I liked him. And I think in that same scene, John Williams has a cameo.
Really?
Yeah.
The Babu Frick scene?
Yeah.
I just like the idea of a tiny engineer. Like, he just seems kind of cool. Disney, do not make a Babu Frick spinoff. Do not make a Babu Frick spinoff.
Although, that whole scene with Babu Frick is completely pointless. Because,
I agreed. I just like
because okay, so the location of the Wayfinder is stuck in C-3PO's memory bank. All it would take is a simple editing trick for him to reveal that information once they find out about it, and it would clear up like 30 minutes of this movie so other scenes
Yeah.
could actually breathe. And it's like not
I
much of
agree.
value would be lost, especially since C-3PO's quote unquote death is completely
Wasn't even
meaningless.
fucking a death.
Just like
Exactly.
just like the other deaths in this movie. Rey dying is completely meaningless. Chewie dying is completely meaningless.
Yes.
Like
Preach.
those
Preach.
deaths are even more meaningless than Luke's was in The Last Jedi. Like I'm dead serious when I say that. Like I don't care how
I agree.
how useless you think Luke's death was in the last one. Those deaths are like way worse because they just bring him back 10 minutes later and it's like, well, and they have no impact on the story overall. They're just there for shock value.
The sad thing is the movie, as bad as it is, kind of starts off pretty strong, but it just kind of declines once it reaches the middle. It starts declining.
Well, to be fair, even at the beginning, you can tell it's like, okay, this movie is just it's on what's an analogy for being really fast? It's like a movie that's on the accelerator at the beginning and it doesn't really let up. And that's a problem. And that's a problem because it's like you don't have time to immerse yourself in the story. But then again, if you did have time to immerse yourself in the story of this movie, you'd realize how shallow it is.
Yeah. Tim, what do you make of all of this? What do you make of all of this?
Make of what?
What we just said.
What we just said.
What, all the meaningless deaths that's been going on?
The meaningless deaths, which I would like to go into later.
Okay.
Or unless I end up repeating what Drew said, but yes, the meaningless deaths.
Yeah.
Also the fact that what else did we talk about? Because I just mostly just kept going. I agree with you, Drew. So
I agree with you, sir. I agree. Yes, I agree.
Like I'm not being a complete yes man. Like Drew, I think all your complaints are very valid.
Yeah.
Even though, again, I don't really like this movie. I enjoyed it the first time I watched it with my brother because we just kind of riffed on it a little bit.
It's definitely
and
a riffable
I even riffed on
movie.
it when I watched it with Tim. Like when he said, "I know what I must do. I don't have the strength to do." I'm just like me rewatching this fucking trilogy.
I will say though, the scene with Kylo and Han, it's probably the one thing on the trilogy that felt somewhat earned. So I like that. I do kind of like that scene. At least the idea.
Tim, you mentioned that was a heartwarming scene when we watched it. Do you still stand by that?
Yes, I still stand by it.
Yeah. Do you want to elaborate how you thought it was very heartwarming, and would you consider that like one of the biggest highlights of this film?
Well, what do you think? I mean, it was a pretty touching scene. I mean, it's he's coming to terms with what he did to his own dad, and dad turning as his conscience. I mean, it's a no-brainer. So really.
Yeah.
I will say though, and Nick, I don't mean to cut you off, but there's something that we should probably mention. You could tell that this movie, and I don't want to like make light of anyone's death, but you could tell that they had bigger plans for Carrie Fisher in this movie than.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And it's like fairly or not, it does hurt what they were going for, unfortunately.
Well. The question is, how did she even appear in this film despite dying before production began?
CGI.
See, it was CGI, and they also had leftover footage from The Force Awakens that they did some like movie magic stuff to make.
Wait, how can you tell she was CGI?
Well, it wasn't really CGI. It was just they edited scenes that were left over from The Force Awakens, and they probably did use some CGI to make it all work with the scenery and everything. But it's like,
I understand why they did stuff with Carrie Fisher, but I still didn't like it.
Well, how did
she? It just felt janky and clunky in terms of everything, dialogue and just actions, the way she died. Like, how did she die again? Heart attack or something?
I guess it was kind of a similar thing with Luke in The Last Jedi, where she used her force to reach out to Ben Solo. But even then, I think that's kind of a cop out. I think.
And their attempts to rewrite Last Jedi, they couldn't help but do the same shit.
Yeah, just so with Leia, but
that just made me a lot more. I'm sorry. Keep talking, Tim.
I was talking. So I was saying
Keep talking. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry.
So how did like Leia mention Palpatine and among the other things that she was talked about that were not that were not discussed in The Last Jedi. How did she manage to do all that, despite, dying before, Rise of Skywalker began production? So,
Well, we kind of told you already because of footage that archival footage from The Force Awakens that they didn't use.
Yeah. Also, I found it weird how during her training she just accepted, oh, my son's gonna die, or well, no, I'm not, my son's gonna turn evil. I found that plot point so weird. I did not like that.
That was weird. That was weird.
Like this whole yeah, and then of course the battle on Exegol
was fine.
Looks pretty.
It looked pretty. It was fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It was fine.
Exactly.
I mean, I think the biggest missed opportunity of this movie, and honestly, I think this whole trilogy, and what's frustrating, as I did sort of allude to it in this movie, is look, in the last two movies, I think they really helped set up Finn for this character arc conclusion of him leading a rebellion from a stormtrooper rebellion against the First Order.
I know.
That was actually in the original script for Episode 9. The one that Colin Trevorrow wrote before being yanked from the project.
I know. What about Finn? I think we have to touch on this. I know I mentioned Finn being kind of degraded, but this one they just kicked him to the fucking curb.
Oh, absolutely. His whole character in this movie is Rey.
Rey! Like, I'm gonna be honest. I thought there'd be more Rey and Finn, and I don't mean that from like a shipping perspective. Like, they could have built off from the Force Awakens.
Force Awakens, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. As much as I hated Last Jedi, I thought it was really nice that when I actually liked how Rey and Finn unite. They came with a big friend. I was so happy to see each other. They didn't see each other forever, and Rey thought Finn died. But no, he's just a fucking cheerleader. In fact, I'm just gonna say it. The love interest would have been better if it was Finn.
Well,
I don't know why this fucking film had to appeal to give into the Reylos. Like, fuck. Why?
They were sort of. I think even Adam Driver admitted that they were playing with the whole Reylo stuff even back in The Force Awakens. So that's been there throughout this whole thing. It was sort of subtly built up in both The Force Awakens and to a lesser extent in The Last Jedi. That's always kind of been there. And that's Adam Driver saying that, not me. I've always had mixed feelings about that whole thing. Even though I think the whole dynamic between Rey and Kylo, I think, is one of the more interesting things in this trilogy. They didn't need to go full romantic, I don't think.
They didn't need to. They never fucking needed to.
No, but it is what it is. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. This I didn't like it. Like, again, the pointless deaths you mentioned. Oh, Rey dies. Oh, never mind. She's back. Oh, and now Kylo dies.
Well, to be fair, at least with Kylo, he gave his life force energy to Rey. It's established earlier in the movie when Rey heals that big serpent thing that she transferred some of her life force. I would imagine with what Ben Solo does with Rey, since he's reviving another person, he has to probably give up his life to save her. But even then, that's kind of weird because like she died for no reason. It's like, what's the point?
I think it would have been. I think it would have been fine if the film just ended with Rey dying and Ben kind of actually being the real last Skywalker, and him coming to terms of like, maybe this might be my redemption to start where both not only were my destiny is not to pick up where my grandfather left off, but where my uncle left off.
We also run into the problem of. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but you run into the problem of, Ben Solo is Kylo Ren. He's like the enemy of the Republic and the Resistance. I mean, if he shows himself, they're probably going to arrest him and try him for all the crimes he's committed. So
he could have trained Finn. Okay, yeah, you're right. Never mind. I'm overthinking this.
Well, still, I don't think Finn wants anything to do with him.
Well, Finn was implied to be force sensitive, albeit in the most poorest way imaginable. In fact, he never told Rey That fucking
I
build-up
know.
was useless.
I know.
This is they could. I'm gonna be honest. They could have recovered. As much as I didn't like Last Jedi, I saw they could have recovered from this. They could have recovered. They could have recovered. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
This film is just the more I like
the more you think about it, the more your brain hurts.
I know. That's how I also feel about The Last Jedi as well. I mean, don't get again. The first time I watched Rise of Skywalker, good time, still a bad movie, but this one rewatch value just gets worse. Like it just becomes boring, just dumb. I mean, I can't bring myself to be as frustrated with Rise of Skywalker as I was with The Last Jedi, because it's just like in the end, the more I'll be honest, there's just nothing really. I mean, stuff does happen, but it's just there.
That's
Like,
the problem with the movie. Stuff just happens. There's no reason for it. Things just happen.
I know. This one, like, it's frustrating when you think about it, but it's not as like, again, like when I rated Last Jedi a 0.5 out of 5, I rate this just a 1 out of 5. But that's not saying a lot. That's not a lot. That's really.
I mean, somewhat different, but I still think giving a 0 to any movie is kind of mean. But oh well, you do you. Here's what I'll say. Another thing that frustrates me. I really do not like the ending of this movie, the last scene.
Oh, the ending's bad.
When Rey goes to Tatooine, a place that she's never been to before, that she has no connection to, a place that both Anakin and Luke wanted to get away from, and she goes there to bury the saber, Luke and Leia's saber. By the way, Leia never visited that moisture farm. By the way, it's like one of the movie's biggest problems, and one of something that J.J. Abrams, one of his biggest problems with doing a lot of franchise movies, is that he confuses nostalgia for story. And this is probably the clearest example of that.
Exactly, yeah. Like, what was the point of that ending? What was the fucking point?
Like, there's nothing stopping Palpatine from coming back. There's nothing to stop a new First Order, a new Empire from rising again. There's nothing to keep a Republic from failing again. It's like there's nothing. It honestly, you could really make the case, and I'm sure, Nick, you will make the case, that The Rise of Skywalker is like the only part of like a conclusion of a trilogy that basically makes the whole trilogy feel like a waste of time.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's like, it
would have been a much better ending if Rey just went back to fucking Canto Bight and took Broom Boy along. That would have been a better ending.
I mean, at least, Rey never met Broom Boy, but at least Broom Boy was not built up, but was like established to have the Force, and it kind of played into that movie's theme about how anybody can use the Force and shit. But it's like, you're right, it would have made a better ending, and that's not saying a whole lot, because this ending is trash.
Rey could have bought the kid, or not just bought him, but just kind of actually have the Force work on the owner as opposed to Watto. But that would have been a better ending. Broom Boy becomes Rey's apprentice.
And that sequence when they board the Star Destroyer to save Chewie, it's like they just barge in and start blasting every living thing with no plan.
When I saw that with my brother, guess what the first thing I said was?
So anyways, I started blasting.
No. Yes, the negotiator.
It's like, look, they have Rey.
And then I immediately followed it up with, "You're right, Master, the negotiations were assured."
And it's like, look, they have Rey, somebody who can do Jedi mind tricks. Why don't you just mind trick the Stormtrooper to have what you need brought to you? Like, it's... I know it does kind of sound like nitpicking, but it's like this movie is so poorly written that it's like, it's not really nitpicking to tear the movie plot apart like this, because the plot threads holding this movie together are so flimsy that you can barely even see them.
Exactly. Like this, like hang on. Yeah. Tim, what do you make of all this?
Holy hell!
What the fuck? What the fuck?
I think that was. What was that? Tim?
What was that? Tim. I think Tim's frozen. Yeah, Tim, we lost Tim. I think there's carbonite in his internet wires.
All right.
Oh, I'm gonna shoot a text. Folks, we are having some technical problems here. We are literally 2 hours into this podcast.
The Rise of Skywalker broke our internet.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's back. He's back.
There he is. He's back.
Tim, welcome back.
Yeah. I don't know. It iPad keeps doing that even when I'm on a faster connection. So
It can't take this anymore. I'm sorry.
I mean, Tim, while you were gone, I made the joke that Rise of Skywalker broke our internet.
How appropriate.
But Tim mentioned that he really liked the return of Lando. How do we all think Lando was handled in this movie?
It was done justice, I would say. I liked having him return and helping out and leading the army against the entire empire. Of course, I just like that. There was hope finally. Because they were losing.
I mean, Lando was definitely nostalgia pandering, but I think he got off pretty easy compared to every other character in this trilogy.
He's just sort of there. I mean, he does lead the fight at the end, but it's like they didn't necessarily try to do anything new with him, which I guess is fine. He's not meant to be the main character.
Yeah.
But
I also heard that Lando was supposed to have his own series as well.
Excuse me. I think the closest you're gonna get to that is the Solo movie, which was incredibly mediocre.
Well, I heard that there's I know that there's a Lando series where it features a younger Lando. That's what I've been hearing. Just look it up. I
don't know if that's ever gonna see the light of day, though.
Well, have you even looked it up?
Nope. But I heard about it. And I heard it might have been it might have been canceled.
I mean, Disney has 1 million of those shows in the back burner on pre-production, so
yeah.
And we'll see. If
I'm not trying to be a pessimist, but genuinely, Disney is from what people have said. Disney is currently cleaning house, but that being said, there's still some shit in the pipeline.
Got that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like I said, Lando. He didn't really do a lot. He was just there, and quite frankly, he got off way better compared to how every other legacy character was treated. So, Lando Bros take another W.
Well, to be fair, much like Han Solo in The Force Awakens, it's once a certain point with Lando, there's not much else to do with him after a certain point. So,
yeah. Oh, one more thing. The Knights of Ren, completely fucking wasted.
Yep.
Actual style. You know what we call that?
Style over
stylized
substance.
Cannon fodder. Stylized cannon fodder.
Yep.
They could have done something with the Knights. They didn't have to do it with this movie. They could have done it for the whole fucking trilogy. Maybe have the Knights of Ren start being conflicted. Maybe one of them betrays Kylo and wants to go help Luke, or one of them actually finds Luke and tries to attack him on the island. This is not just this movie, but this whole fucking trilogy. There's a fucking ant on my wall. Anyways, the Knights of Ren. Completely fucking wasted.
Do you know what? This kind of leads into the thing, which I thought if I would describe this trilogy overall in a single sentence, it would be the trilogy of missed opportunities.
I agree. There's so much.
And again,
much.
This is coming from somebody who likes the majority of this trilogy. But it's
really?
I can't. Well, I like The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. That's the majority. That's 2 out of 3. But it's I can't help but not notice them. The the potential of Finn leading a stormtrooper rebellion. This what they could have done with Captain Phasma. I mean, hell, when I was watching the last as other when I was watching the Last Jedi or the Force Awakens, I sort of made a joke to myself when she came on screen. I was like, "Holy shit, she's in this movie!" Because it's like they don't do anything with her. She gets like what, two scenes in each movie.
Phasma existed.
And it's like, why would you hire someone like Gwendolyn Christie, a well-known actress, for a role like that if you're barely going to use her? Like, why? Why not just hire some random person?
Yeah.
Wasn't she in several TV shows? And I also heard that that she's
there is actually a novel about Phasma that I actually have. I've read part of it. I've liked it so far. I haven't picked it up in a while, but
let's see.
And also there's the whole thing about there's the whole thing with what could have been done with Rey throughout this trilogy. There's so many things but it's like they just had to.
Like, I have a question for all of you. Would you have been happy if Finn actually became a Jedi in this trilogy?
I don't think that was really what they were going for, but I would have been fine with it.
That would have been so cool. I remember everybody thought Finn would be a Jedi, like a stormtrooper of the Jedi. That would have been cool.
Well, to be fair, with the marketing of The Force Awakens, they kind of did intentionally be like, hey, Finn is the main character, but then we actually saw the movie was Rey was the main character. They kind of did.
They could have done the duo main lead.
They could have.
Imagine if Kylo was still the villain. Imagine if he was so powerful enough that he needed two people to take on.
I mean, he is the grandson of Anakin Skywalker, so that would have made sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. This whole trilogy is just what could have been. Here's the thing, viewers. I want to point this out. I don't care if this trilogy did not live up to the originals. All I cared was a good and decent story, and I did not get that.
As much as
I did not have a checklist of things I wanted to see. I wanted the wonder and excitement, and all I got was fucking disappointment.
If you talk to like 10 different Star Wars fans about the sequel trilogy, you're going to get about each movie. You're probably going to get a very different response from all of them, but it's like, or at least from the majority of them. But I think something that we can all agree on, like literally every Star Wars fan I've talked to has at least shared this opinion. In some way or another, they fucked up this trilogy in one way or another. Some people think it's with some people think it was with The Last Jedi. Some people think it was with The Rise of Skywalker. But you know what? I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to say they fucked it up at the very beginning with The Force Awakens. Not because the movie's a bad movie, but because they left too much open-ended. They left it too open-ended, and so when Rian Johnson came to continue it, he didn't have much of guidance, and so he was sort of. Yeah. And so it's like, especially when you hire somebody who's more of an auteur like filmmaker like Rian Johnson, The Last Jedi is what you're gonna get. Deconstructionist type movie that divides the fan base. That's what you're gonna get. Yeah. And some people like it, some people hate it. It's what it is. It's what you get.
Yeah. So I guess let's conclude The Rise of Skywalker, and I'm just gonna say I didn't like it. And here's the thing: it's a popcorn movie in the same way that it's only gonna be, if it's a popcorn movie, you need to have the best gourmet popcorn ever to actually enjoy it. It's like it's a baby step, a very tiny baby step, though an inchworm step above Last Jedi. But again, the only way I can see you enjoying this is if you have the best popcorn in the world.
I mean, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus here, but I do know there's somebody who's relatively popular on Twitter. I'm not going to say his name because I don't have anything against the guy. Because I see his tweets come up on my timeline every now and again. And they said that The Rise of Skywalker is the best Star Wars movie. And I'm just like, look, I get it. We all have our own different opinions. We all have our own tastes and blah, blah, blah. I don't mean to disrespect anybody, but at the same time, I'm thinking of what drugs is this guy on?
Yeah. Tim, what are your... Sorry, are you done?
Well, there was something I was going to say, but I forget.
Yeah, sorry. I was gonna say, Tim, what are your thoughts on what is your final conclusion on the Rise of Skywalker?
As a whole,
Yeah,
yeah,
the Rise of Skywalker.
like I said, you think like I did have some. What did you think of the whole Palpatine fight?
Meh.
Yeah.
You think that Palpatine would show a little love for his granddaughter. I mean, what gives? Like, you'd think he'd have a little, like, care for her at least. Maybe have a bit of a redemption arc at some.
There's literally no way you could redeem Palpatine.
There is no way Palpatine have redemption.
No way.
Not every character needs a redemption story.
Yes.
So what? So
Palpatine was just pure evil.
So what is he like? What's he supposed to be?
He's pure evil. He's the Emperor. He's basically the Star Wars equivalent of Hitler.
Or the Star Wars equivalent of Lex Luthor, or the Star Wars equivalent of Judge Holden from Blood Meridian, or Innscock from 1984.
Funny, I always thought the philosophy would be no matter how bad they are, they can always be redeemed. Is that right? So,
not always. I mean, the thing is, what makes the redemption possible is that, especially with someone like Anakin or even someone like Ben Solo, it's like there's hints of humanity in both of them before the redemption. Yeah. But it's like with Palpatine, there's not really any of that. And yeah, and remember in the prequels, everything that he does is for his own gain. It's manipulation to get himself into a position of power. So
yeah,
he's not doing it out of the kindness of his heart. He's doing it out of his own ambition.
And I find it funny that I just find it how he wasn't even reluctant to kill his own granddaughter for. I find that strange that he didn't think twice before trying to, kill his own granddaughter. I mean, that was a bit messed up.
It's not strange at all. Not strange at all.
So what, is he not a good parent? Not a good grandparent?
No.
No. I don't know why you'd think he's a good parent. He literally abandoned his granddaughter and essentially told I don't know what the fuck the relationship was with his supposed children, in quotes, but like.
Oh, you think that they'd want to continue his legacy or something like that? I mean,
why? He's a pure evil villain.
I mean, to be fair, if you see in the thing in Exegol during the final fight, it's clear he has some sort of like cult, like Sith following, something like that.
Yeah. But
still, they don't really leave Exegol though. Not until we see, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that, Palpatine's, defeat, it felt more cathartic. At least you blasted to pieces and everything. But I find it funny that, I mean, he got what he wanted. He got killed by Rey, so what was the difference? Like he wanted to be...
I have no idea.
Neither do I.
So Palpatine
I mean, maybe, I guess, because, remember, she deflects the lightning back at him, so... He was sort of killed by his own power in a literal sense.
So that means he got.
So I think that reasoning is still pretty flimsy.
So how did that happen? And Rey not be a Sith Lord at that point?
I
don't know, man.
It literally
the whole Palpatine coming back thing in general doesn't make any sense.
I agree. And Tim, what was your thoughts on them bringing back Palpatine? Did you like it? Did you like that they brought back Palpatine, or did you not like it?
I mean, given the fact that he was behind everything in this trilogy, I mean, it makes sense. So, yeah. He was literally behind everything.
They only introduced that he was behind everything in this movie. So it's like there was in the previous two movies, there was literally zero hint that Palpatine would be back.
Wait, you guys literally never thought that?
No, we'd never thought about this. Nobody in their right mind knew that Palpatine would be coming back. And a lot of people were confused when they heard, the Palpatine laughter in their throats. What the fuck is this?
I mean, I was. I remember sitting in English class, believe it or not. So I had my English class at the time. We only meet once a week, so the classes were 3 hours long. So halfway through it, we would take a 10-minute break, and I watched the trailer on my phone with my earphones in during one of these breaks. And I remember I was like, okay, most of the trailer is pretty all right. And then he got to the Palpatine's laughter at the end. I'm just like, they're doing it, huh? they're actually gonna do it.
I was so checked out on the Star Wars Sequel Trilogy, I didn't even notice until I heard other people talking about it. In fact, I'm going to plagiarize Moist Crit. No, I'm not going to plagiarize him, but I think Moist Critical said a funny observation that it would have made more sense for Darth Jar Jar to be the main villain.
I mean, it sounds like a joke, but it's not wrong.
So yeah. Speaking of Jar, why is like everybody characterizing Jar Jar as a Sith Lord? I mean, what's the
it sort of started as a joke fan theory, and it kind of is, but it sort of gained traction sometime.
Yeah. Well,
I still personally think of it as a joke theory, so I don't put much stock into it.
And yet,
I can see it happening. But then again, that was just like a dumb observation made by an e-celeb that everyone knows.
No, that would be.
I was like, yeah.
No, that's just way too strange. Even for me. I mean, how we wouldn't even know how he became a Sith Lord. He was nothing but a funny good guy in the prequel. So it's like what?
That's all he was ever supposed to be as a
comic relief character. A funny, goofy Gungan who was the key to all of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we even know what happened.
Trilogy. Sequel Trilogy. We've already reached 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I gotta go to bed soon.
Yeah.
I guess our final conclusion is that we all just didn't like this movie.
Yeah.
I suppose.
And now, as per tradition of the last 3 episodes, what was our favorite movie in this trilogy?
Definitely.
What, Tim? Go ahead, Tim.
For me, it was The Force Awakens, but that's not saying a lot.
Mine is definitely Rise of Skywalker.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, that was the one I enjoyed the most. So
I'm surprised you didn't come in to defend anything we've said about this movie.
Yeah, we've talked quite a bit of trash about this movie.
Yeah.
Well, I liked it because, like I told you, the legacy characters being there and, and a few other things, and just like you're talking to the guy who doesn't give a damn about Star Wars, didn't at the time, so this is all new to me, so.
Yeah, but again, Lando got the best treatment out of this trilogy compared to all the others, but yeah, and I know how much you like Lando. So anyways, Drew, your favorite movie in all this trilogy?
You know what I'm going to say? It's The Last Jedi.
Yeah, of course you do.
What do you mean, of course I do?
You say it like that's so insulting.
Yeah.
Well, compared to Nick's opinion on it, so just...
I was actually, when I, when was it when we first talked about The Last Jedi, you and me, Nick? It was pretty sure it was one of our times we were having lunch together at some point. And then The Last Jedi came up, and it's like, as I've said before, it's like, I'm someone who likes The Last Jedi, but if someone else doesn't, I don't care. That's their opinion. They're allowed to have their opinion. As long as as long as the opinion is respected on both sides, there's no problem.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's like, I think, and I know you said, Nick, you didn't want to talk about the fans, but it's like, I think, and I'm not going to drag on this too much, but it's like, I feel like a lot of Star Wars fans, the thing with the sequel trilogy as a whole, but especially with The Last Jedi, it ignited a conversation that I'm not sure a lot of Star Wars fans wanted to have. Like a lot of Star Wars fans.
Why?
Well, because probably should have said it differently, but it's like probably should have phrased it as like, people see with The Last Jedi, it's like, oh, you feel differently about this movie. People didn't be like, okay, why did you feel differently about this movie? People would just be like, oh no, that movie is shit. That movie is shit. This and that. Or it's like people just sort of shut each other out once they heard certain phrases and stuff. And I think that's really tragic because there's a good conversation to be had about these movies. It's just that we need to be willing to have these conversations.
Although I do apologize if I got emotional during some points.
That's fine. I'm sure I probably did too during Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. So that's all good.
Oh no, dude! I kept saying preach. But yeah, you feel like I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. It's like I said, it's getting late. But anyways,
Yeah,
what were you saying?
I kind of finished what I needed to say. So,
All right. Since this is our last moment talking about the original Star Wars saga, Skywalker saga, what was everybody's favorite movie out of this entire saga?
Empire
Like
Strikes
from
Back.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Empire Strikes Back is
and
the
9.
best. Empire Strikes Back is the
Revenge of the
best.
Sith, baby.
Empire Strikes Back is the best, and I'm gonna die on that hill.
Having trouble choosing between either Phantom Menace or Return of the Jedi. So,
Ooh, Phantom Menace. That's a bold choice, and I respect that.
yep.
I
I'll stick by it. I mean, after all, it's had nothing. It's just humble beginnings, I would say.
Yeah. I feel like both Phantom Menace and Return of the Jedi were all like very more actiony, fun filled in terms of tone. So I respect that.
Speaking of have you guys watched The Acolyte, by the way?
I haven't.
No,
I haven't.
no,
I haven't.
no.
I do know,
That's maybe a topic for another day.
I mean, I do know there was a lot of backlash to it, like there was at The Last Jedi, but I haven't seen it, so I can't comment.
I do not plan on watching it. I don't have Disney Plus anymore, and we have reached the end of this episode. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching this episode, and thank you so much for watching us all talk about Star Wars and this sequel trilogy for this is our longest episode yet.
Yeah.
We're clocking in at 2 hours and probably 30 minutes if we continue to drag out this outro any longer.
Yeah,
I've been
it's just as long
I've
as
been
on the movie.
I've been Nick, and we weren't gonna introduce each other again. Sorry, this was just a hell of a journey to go on, especially with Tim and I. We watched the sequel trilogy together, and oh man, this as much as I didn't like these movies, I still had a good time watching them with Tim. We watched it via Discord, and as corny as this will sound, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and may the Force be with you.